How do you, like,
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, beat left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my God. Hey guys, welcome to another show tonight and Friday with Tarzan.
Yeah. Hello.
Listen, we were just talking about how, oh my God, the lost finger at Cage Fury Championship. That was kind of, oh, that's so gnarly. Oh my God, I heard it took a while for them to find the finger, I guess.
They actually found it? Oh.
I thought so. I don't know. I thought you said they found it. Or no, Steve said.
Yeah.
Steve said they found it. Anyway, yeah, there's so many exciting things that have happened. We've got Dave Fieldman, fighter pension for BKFC. That's pretty awesome for the fighters. I mean, that's freaking phenomenal. You guys better jump on that. And then we've got Anderson Silva comes out of retirement. Whoa. What do you
Was not expecting that. Isn't he like 60 or something? How old is he?
He's not. I don't think he's 60.
I mean, he's old. He's definitely
Wait, age is just a number, right? Remember what Shannon said. Shannon said it doesn't matter how old you are. If you can still fight and you can still get down.
But that's the question. Can he still fight?
I don't know. What do you guys think? I didn't get a poll question because my brain was not functioning, so I could not, for the life of me, think of a poll question. So tell us your thoughts about Anderson Silva coming back. Let us know what you think about that. And I have a couple of things I wanted to show you. Okay, so I'm just going to do a shout out to my friend Joe Wall in Florida. It's freaking awesome. He made this beautiful, look, I'm now a USCCA firearms instructor. I'm certified, so I'm super excited. But Joe Wall is freaking awesome. So he's based out of Florida, and he made me this necklace. It's a 45 bullet because that's my favorite. I love shooting the 45.
Only the Kimber.
Yeah. So it's got some iolite stones on it. It's sterling silver, not the cheap sterling silver. I guess there's some differences. This is the nicer sterling silver. Super heavy. This thing is custom. I have pictures of it on my Instagram, you guys. So check it out. I do have a discount code for that. Then I also want to give a shout out to my friend Pat Miletich. He was on our show a few times back, and oh my gosh, he's got this product called Vulvic Care, and he told me about it, and I was reading some of the testimonies, and he had videos on his Instagram, and I'm like, all right, I want to know, I want to try this stuff that everybody's talking about. So this thing, it's a product, is excellent source of organic fulvic acid, humic acid, trace minerals, electrolytes, and antioxidants. So I've been on this for about 4 days, and I can totally tell a difference. I feel like it's detoxing and taking all the heavy metals out of my body and stuff. So this is really an awesome product. I don't know. I'm not an expert in it, and I'm not a doctor by any means. So I would say check out Pat Miletich on Instagram and check out what he's got to say about this. This is awesome. I probably will, I'll be ordering again.
And it's very interesting. It's a nice little magic trick too.
Oh yeah,
water.
It's the coolest thing.
It slowly turns black. It looks like there's charcoal just like filling up the glass of water.
Yeah, it's like drinking death. I don't know. It's kind of wicked. I have the videos on my Instagram too. It's kind of wicked and kind of fun. So check it out. There's no taste to it. It's like a little like mineral taste, but it's pretty good for the most part.
So it's like, so what is it like? Basically like a multivitamin in a way? Or?
Oh, it's got all kinds of goodies in there, and he swears by it. It's a Canadian product.
It's got
And,
electrolytes in it too. I always need those.
Yeah.
It always seems like I'm dehydrated.
I know, and this has been amazing.
Look, and it also has boron in it. You don't need to take your regular boron.
Wait a minute, I think Steve wants me to say something. Hold on a second.
I got a
Maybe
word from
not.
our
I don't know where he
sponsors.
sent it.
What are our sponsors?
Oh, here we go. I think. Oh, what is this? Breaking news. I applaud MLB's decision to move the All-Star game out of Georgia because of its restrictive voting laws. Governor J.B. Pritzker. Oh, he's such a putz. I hate this guy. He's our governor, you guys, in case you don't know, here in Illinois. And he's...
I never once recognized him as my governor.
Oh, he's awful.
I didn't vote for him.
Awful. So tonight we've got two special guests, and I'm super excited. I've been following this guy for a little while now, and since he was in Bellator, and I've been following his career, and he's going to be fighting on April 30th for Bareknuckle FC, and I'm super excited about this. Not only is he a fighter, but he is also a Marine vet. And you know how well that just hits home for me. That's my heart. And I love veterans. I love to do whatever I can. Right now I'm wearing my nylon, and I've got my grunt style. So I support the best way that I can and work with some homeless vets in Chicago. It's just, you guys are amazing. And so this guy, I am super excited to see him fighting in Bareknuckle. He just signed. And so we're going to bring him on when he's available. He should be. We're going to welcome Mike the Marine Richman tonight. He just signed with Bareknuckle. I'm so excited to see him fight.
Yeah, I'm just going to Bareknuckle.
Yeah,
He's like, that's where the serious fighters go.
Well, Bareknuckle seems to be
It's the new up and coming thing.
and it looks like it's about to take over, folks. I mean, if you guys haven't signed up, I did my yearly membership on FITE, and each time Bareknuckle comes on, I can pick that fight and watch it. And when you become a member for the year, you get a discount instead of having to pay $50 or $30 every time. So many of us, I just wanted to give out another shout out to one of our sponsors of the entire network. I can't talk tonight. Many of us and our families deal with mental health and addiction issues. We are happy to support the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. If you need help, please call 856-651-8117. Again, that number is 856-651-8117. Guys, we all suffer from something. Help each other out. Make that call if you need to, if you're alone.
All right, I was looking up his Instagram.
Oh, no, that's okay. I don't know if he's there, Steve. I told him 7:15 just to be able to go over everything before we started the show.
He seems to be like a pretty popular guy. Look at this.
Oh, are you kidding me? He's amazing.
I love the way he looks, like his facial expressions.
The way he fights is
the mustache.
He's definitely coming for business. Man, I don't even know what to say. Y'all look out. It's gonna be quiet.
Cool.
What are you looking at over there?
No, I'm looking at his story, and he's doing like an interview.
Oh yeah. I think he's being interviewed. Such
He's about
a
to
nice
be interviewed
guy.
again.
Yeah, he's gonna come on our show. Oh, Steve.
I gotta find the next guy. Wait, did you mention our second guest?
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I usually do that
guest.
introduction before they come on the show, but
you might as well do it now because you're gonna forget later.
See, I really don't know how to say his last name.
Let me see. It's,
on the second half of the show, Mike
Wolthuis?
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 I think it's Wolthuis.
Oh, I'm
like
terrible
Lewis, but
that.
with the TH.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him. He's
Wolthuis.
a 31-year-old veteran of the Air Force serving in the security force career field. He is a former competitive power lifter,
Oh, shit.
holding the Utah deadlifting record of 782 pounds in the
Damn.
242-pound raw class. He now works as a commercial sales manager in the car business and enjoys training and boxing and spending time with his dog. Not to mention, he is getting ready to have his exhibition fight. I believe it's this month. So I'm pretty excited about that. He'll talk a little bit on what's going on in that department. Maybe
That's
we'll
crazy.
see him
Like-
on Bare Knuckle. That would be cool.
You know, I wasn't expecting him to be a car guy to get into the car business after deadlifting so much weight.
I
Like,
know.
you
I
have a-
have to ask him that question.
Yeah.
What made you?
What's
Hi,
up?
Mike. How are you?
How are you guys?
Oh,
Good,
this is
good.
such a. I am so excited to have you on. I have been following you probably for as long as I've been in MMA, and it's been over 10 years. But
Yeah, it's been a good while.
yeah, so I'm so excited to have you on, and oh my gosh, to see you make the transition from MMA and going into bare knuckle boxing, I'm like, oh my god, I gotta have him on.
Right.
And so I appreciate you taking the time out tonight. This is my son,
How are
What's
you?
up?
Tarzan.
Yeah,
He's-
there. I was gonna say that's what my nickname's Tarzan.
Yes,
As you can tell, I kind of have that look.
he's going into professional bodybuilding, so he's got quite the transformation.
Yeah.
But I
Adjust my camera. Which one looks better, like this way or the?
Oh, no,
sideways.
that's
There we
better.
go, right
Yeah.
there. That looks good.
My
You
hair-
like this? You're the third person who said that. I mean, Shannon did that last time too. It's so
He
funny.
kept
He's like,
flipping it.
"Check
Everybody
this
keeps
way."
flipping.
Yeah. Because in the camera, you're like looking off to the side. I gotta look.
Oh
over here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
It's so you are a Marine veteran.
Thank
Which-
you for your service.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. I think I always tell you every year. I'm like, thank you so much for your service. I don't know if you remember on my Twitter, but
Yeah,
every year I'd make the point to say something to you.
Absolutely, you do.
And now we finally get to actually meet. I know we can't shake hands, but at least we can finally
Yeah.
meet.
For
I
sure.
am a real person.
No, I like you were saying. I remember you kind of been there along the whole path. As far as my MMA career with Bellator and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I definitely knew who you were when you reached out to me. To us finally make it work on the show. I'm glad to finally, better late than never.
I know, right? So you're new to A2D Radio. Tell everybody who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it.
Well, my name is Mike Richman. I go by the Marine. I'm a prize fighter. I've fought MMA for a long time, over 10 years. I wouldn't say I'm quite done there. I'm not officially retired from that, but if the right opportunity comes, maybe I'll dive back into it again. Well, right now I've been exploring the worlds of bare knuckle boxing, which bare knuckle fighting now with BKFC. And now I just signed with BKFC, so I'm super excited about that. And everyone can stay tuned here. At the end of the month, April 30th. 4 more weeks.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Are you excited?
You got any nerves, jitters, anything like that?
You know what? I've been in the game for a good amount of time now, and fought at a high level. With the good production value, the whole that everything that comes with it. Earlier on in my career, I would get nerves much earlier into training camp, and then as I progressed and fought more, the nerves didn't really kick in until kind of less and less farther on into the stages. Now my nerves really don't kick in until, honestly, not even my nerves probably kick in when I'm on deck.
Okay, so right when you're there, you're okay.
There's a fight going on. I'm on deck. I'm the next fight up. That's when the nerves start kind of going, and then getting ready to go time.
Now, I had one more question for you. I was wondering, since you're, you being a Marine, having a Marine background, how did a lot of your Marine training kind of transfer over? Did it transfer over, or was it completely different?
I think some of it did, absolutely. And I was an infantry Marine. So, like, we were, are the combat warriors of the Marine Corps. So, obviously, the training mentality, train how you fight how you train, the discipline that comes with that. And then sorry, that's my dog in the kennel.
You'll hear our dog
walking around. Get all up into this interview. It helped a lot as far as the mentality aspect and the physicality too, but definitely the mentality of it. I had an interview earlier today with BKFC, and I'm so ingrained. I did 3 combat deployments with the Marine Corps. I was in 2004 to 2008, and I went to Iraq 3 times. And my schedule was like 7-month train up. Sorry, I'm like holding the phone.
You're good.
I'm talking. Marines, we like to use our hands when we talk. I should have on a stand. So we do the train up, like a 7-month train up, and then we do a 7-month deployment, and then there's about a month break when you get home, and then you do it again. So like that, that got instilled in me because I was just, I was during a time of war. So like I was, it was train for a deployment, deploy, come back, rest, do it again. And that kind of rolls right into my prize fighting mentality was sign a fight, train for a fight, rest, sign for another fight, train for the fight, do it again. So like that muscle memory of that, it was perfect. And, dealing with, and I talk about MMA because I have so much experience with it, not much with Bareknuckle yet. But, being in that MMA room, the camaraderie that you have with your teammates is huge. That was really good for me mentally to have that still, leaving the Marine Corps Union, with all the brothers that I served with. But there was a lot of, I could go into the details of how the Marine Corps Infantry definitely helped me translate into prize fighting. There's many of them.
That is amazing.
That's pretty cool.
I have always supported my veterans. I'm a little nasally, so pardon me. The allergies are ridiculous.
I'm nasally too. It's okay. It runs in the family.
This is terrible.
Right.
But my grandfather served, and his brothers served, and so I don't know. I've just developed over a period of time of a lot of love for our veterans. They're fighting for our freedoms, and oh gosh, I can imagine what my grandfather's saying right now from heaven, like what's happening to the world, like woo.
It's a nightmare.
But yeah, I just that's why I was really excited, and I'm so glad you talked about that. How long were you in there for?
I did 4 years active duty with the Marine Corps. Yeah. And then I did a little bit of time with the Minnesota National Guard back in Minnesota. After I got out, while I was still kind of pursuing, when I first got started in the MMA, they were super supportive. A lot of veterans were from different branches, served in the Guard, and I was skeptical at first to be in it, but I still kind of wanted to serve. There wasn't much of an opportunity to be in the Marine Reserves in the Minnesota there, so I served a little bit with the Guard, and then that's when I kind of signed with Bellator. And then I was getting out of my contract with them, and then that's when I really dove into pursuing MMA full time.
And we are so glad that you did, because you are doing so well. I'm just excited about this fight that's coming up. But I got something really. I want the audience to know how good this man is. I pulled up. When you went viral on TikTok with your daughter.
Yeah.
And I have to say, the cutest little video I have ever seen.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
It was obviously, I just posted that today. It was a year today. Her and I posted that video, and it was.
That's a good video.
bored during quarantine lockdown. Watching some TikTok videos. I think it scrolled up on my Twitter. I was looking at something, and then I started dove into the rabbit hole of watching funny TikTok videos, and I'm like, let's make a funny video. And then it was cute. It was cute to do that with my daughter and kind of have that to show her when she gets older one day. How I might be very serious and I might be serious a lot of times, but I definitely have a joking manner.
See, it's good to have that side. You gotta have like both. You can't just be straight serious all the time, you know?
Right. There's the fighter side. There's the dad side.
Right.
You know, what are some of your passions? I always wanted to know what some of your passions. I know you're a patriot for sure.
Oh yeah, and I guess you're into modeling. Is that what it is? Instagram modeling?
You got
Like-
2 questions. You got modeling and you got passion.
Well, my modeling, that was kind of just me being a smart ass. I'm a part-time Instagram model, you know, for all the Instagram models.
I was gonna say you got some good pictures up here.
But you know what? My passions, man, that's a tough one because other than fighting, you know, other than fighting and then family and then kind of diving into work, you know, I don't have much other free time other than wrestling. You know, I wouldn't say I have any other really true deep passion other than prize fighting. I like to golf from time to time. I haven't been golfing in a while, though. I was really into boating for a while. I sold my boat about a year ago, so I was really into boating for a while. But like true deep passions, I mean, I can't. Nothing initially comes to mind other than what I already do, and that's kind of boring, right? That I don't have I'm not this secret painter on the side or something like that.
He does something like really peaceful.
but
He
you know
knits
what?
on the side. Or something.
I crochet,
Yeah.
something like that. No.
That's what I do in my downtime.
That's awesome.
So bad.
Hey, Paul, my Bareknuckle manager says I like to dress up like Macho Man. You know what that is?
I noticed that. I was
saw
looking for
that
some of
video. I'm like, no way.
I make a pretty damn good Macho Man impression when I'm all kitted up.
So wait a minute. I saw that video. So was that at one of those, late night type clubs?
Yeah.
That club?
So I'm a
Oh.
general manager of a gentleman's club.
Oh.
Stop it.
Yeah, I'm the GM of Rick's Cabaret, Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay.
So we were having a theme party. You know, I like to come up with cool little gimmick ideas to where it's not your everyone does a toga party or, an 80s party. We did an 80s party, but the theme parties that everyone knows about, I like to come up with, fun parties that no one's ever done. A couple months ago, we did a post-apocalyptic party in January where everyone was dressed up like Mad Max style, gear. It was cool. So that was a killer party. So I wanted to do a Wrestlemania theme party. And originally, when I scheduled it, technically Wrestlemania, from what I read online, was supposed to be this Sunday. Then it got pushed back, obviously, to April now because now they can have fans at Tampa Bay Stadium. But anyways, I'm like, let's do a pro wrestling. Let's call it Rick's Mania. Let's do a wrestling theme event at the club. Got all the staff involved. I'm like, really to sell to my staff and everyone to have a fun time. Me as the GM, I got to show out and have a great time with them as well. So I went online and I got that epic Macho Man costume, and we had a great night.
That was definitely epic. I'm like, no way. Is that really him, or was that oh my god, that's crazy. That's awesome.
I'm saving that costume. I'll probably bust it out again.
Oh my god. They should post that.
Wear it to a
Put
fight.
it on TikTok and that'll go viral. You have an upcoming fight with Bareknuckle. That's on April 30th, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I was going to ask you, what do you know about your opponent? Have they matched you up with someone?
Yeah. I'm fighting a guy named Marcel Stantz. He's fought for them a couple of times. He's a true athlete. He's a collegiate level linebacker for Alabama. He was a Roll Tide. And he's a big athletic guy. He's explosive. He's built explosive. He kind of fights with that quick, fast pace, explosive, go, attack, kind of reset. He fights like an athlete. And he's super tall. He's 6'3". I'm 5'9", maybe 5'8" and a half.
Oh my goodness.
He's a big.
He's fought at much heavier weights. He's fought at heavyweight and bare knuckle. He's fought at 185. So he's much bigger. But we're going to meet at 180 pounds. He's going to work his way down. for those that have followed me in MMA, I fought as low as 135 pounds.
No.
But yeah, I cut down a lot. Fought at 145 a lot for the majority of my career. So I like fighting when it comes to bare knuckle near my natural kind of weight. And he's coming down. This is supposed to be the first round of the 175-pound tournament. Actually, it's an 8-man tournament. This is technically going to be a catch weight, which I agreed to because I don't know if he can make it to 175 just yet. But I agreed to, all right, I'll do the catch weight of 180. And then, the winner of the tournament should be crowned the champion, from my understanding. But at the end of the day, when I look at bare knuckle fighting, we're just two grown men fist fighting, and I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna get in a good fist fight, and that's just what I do. I like to get out there and go for the kill.
Now, what are you weighing right now? Where are you at?
What do I weigh right now? I'm probably like 190 to 195. If I'm guessing,
that's mass. That's mass right
No
there.
way, really?
Yeah,
he's a fat rider.
right around there. Yeah, I mean, I haven't jumped on the scale in a bit. I was getting ready for a fight that kind of fell through with a different promotion, and that's all in the past now. But so like I took a little bit of a break, and I got down to like 186 pounds, 185 pounds. Took about a week and a half break after that. Then we kind of signed this deal. So I knew I was going to be fighting a little bit bigger. So I put a little bit more mass back on because I didn't kind of I want to cut a little bit of water weight going into this fight so I can have a little bit bigger of a body to deal with him. If we get in those clinching type of efforts, which, he might do, when you realize he's a taller, bigger guy. He doesn't fight 6'3", which is good. He doesn't fight 6'3". He kind of crouches and he fights to my height, which will just only play to my advantage. I'm excited about it. I love throwing my hands. I love going for knockouts. I'm just kind of born and bred to fight like that.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that. I mean, I don't know how many fights I watched, but you're pretty damn good at that.
I'm all right at that. Yeah.
Is this something you've always kind of been like, even from like a kid, you've kind of been more geared towards that?
Yeah, I think I think true fighters are born for sure. I think fighters can be made. I think they can, but I think the majority of people are kind of born with that just kind of natural instinct to be that fighter type of mentality, that flight mentality. And yeah, I just think that was something that was inside me, from the beginning. And then it just kind of really helps, it kind of really helps obviously for MMA, and then it definitely is going to help for me in bare knuckle, because if you watch my fights from MMA, I like to box, I like to kick, I like to stand, I like to trade, and I like to go for the knockout. I like to press, and go for the kill. And when it comes to bare knuckle, if I touch you a couple of times, you're not gonna, you're gonna go down.
I love it.
I'm not gonna dispute that. I was watching some of your videos and I'm like, no.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna say it. I think you're gonna knock the guy out. I think little people have more of the advantage. I'm just saying. That's just my opinion.
I don't know. I feel like you are like you're like a really scrappy kind of guy. Like it's gonna take a lot to really get you, on your ass. Like I can't see you like losing a fight.
I like to. Don't get me wrong. I like to box. I like the purest pugilist form of it. I do. I'm always trying to study and get better boxing, getting better with my technique. Working with different boxing coaches, kind of working on different styles. Now I've been working with Paulie Ayala, 2-time world champ out here in Texas, and I always am trying to adapt to new styles of boxing and fighting. But at the end of the day, I'm still a killer. Like, I'm a fighter, and I'm gonna get in there. And if I have to make it a dog fight, I'll make it a dog fight. And if I have to go in there and look for kill shots, my instincts will always come back in. My instincts will always kick in. I can learn a bunch of new tricks that I can put in my little backpack to bust out when I need them. But I'm a killer.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Yeah.
Let's just say we'll be
Just,
tuning in on
you know.
April 30th. I know I will be. They'll be sitting there right there next to. I just did the whole the FITE. I paid for the whole year subscription because
Oh, okay.
I know I'm going to be watching more than one or two.
Everything better be free. We're going to get everything premium.
I know. So
Sure.
Shannon's fighting too. Shannon Rich. I just had him on last week, and he's getting ready to train for Bareknuckle. He just signed, which is pretty awesome. I'm excited to see him too. So is my favorites.
I fought with him a couple years ago out in London. So he seemed like a nice, genuine guy. He's been in the game for a long time. Josh Burns, I'm fighting on the same card as him. He's a good friend of mine. I believe Mark Godbeer is fighting. I became friends with him. It's going to be a freaking sweet card. And I don't even know what the rest of the fights are scheduled for, but like the people that are already on it, like as a fan, you're tuning in for some freaking action. You're tuning into a sweet card. And you get to watch me, go for the kill and get that knockout.
So what does your family say about you doing this fight?
You know what? I talked about this kind of earlier today too. They're just used to it now. You know what I'm saying? Like they're used to it. It's in the beginning, when I got into MMA, I was like, oh, really? Like, really? You're doing that? I'm like, yeah. Now, where I'm 10 plus years down the road in my fight career and my fight game, and I'm like telling them I'm getting into bare knuckle fighting or Bareknuckle Boxing. Now, bare knuckle fighting. I told them that, and they're just like, yeah, that seems about right with you. Like, it seems like they just know that's who I am. And as far as are they worried and that factor?
They're like, nah, we know you could kick some ass. So
I think they know.
Just don't kill anybody.
I think they know it comes with. I've had cuts in MMA and whatnot, and obviously, in bare knuckle you can get cut much easier. Obviously, with not bare knuckles. So maybe they'd be worried about the extra cuts that I can sustain. But at the end of the day, when I told them that I was fighting, they weren't surprised at all. When I told them I was getting into this, they're like, that seems about right.
We kind of figured this was the next step, naturally in progression.
That's amazing. Oh yeah.
Well, the second bare knuckle fighting, become really a relevant sport and a relevant thing. I was like, I want to fucking do that. I want to do that. That's awesome. And I already wanted to get into it. So, the fact that I'm here now with them, I'm excited about it.
Do you think bare knuckle's going to take over the whole combat sports arena?
I think it's going to be a big player. I think I'm still a diehard boxing fan. I think boxing will still always be there. There's just too many years and decades and of a system and a program and just the sport and everything that comes behind it. I don't think boxing will ever shy away. They keep coming up with new stars, heavyweight divisions rising again. As far as MMA, I don't think MMA is going to go anywhere, but I do think that bare knuckle fighting and BKFC will rise up to the top with them as another premier combat sport, to where you'll see it on ESPN. You're going to see it more and more.
I can see that.
That will be amazing.
Be cool to see. I want to be a part of that rise. I want them to down the road, they're like, oh yeah, that bare knuckle fighting is freaking awesome. You see Mike Richman, when I'm done fighting, they're like, Mike Richman was one of the baddest bare knuckle fighters, in the beginning of the game. So, that's kind of how I want to stamp my legacy. Yeah, I'm at the tail end of my career. I hate, saying it. I got a couple more years of competitive high-end fighting left in me, being at 35. But I'm excited for these years ahead, and I look forward to it.
Hey, what do you think about Dave Feldman's fighter pension? He announced that today?
I didn't look into the details of it, but just seeing the big headline, I mean, it's got to be a good thing, right? It's got to it's got to be a positive thing. The fact that he's even going down that road and trying to look out for the fighters, whether it's a great plan, a crappy plan, an amazing plan, the fact that you're making that step forward is pretty sweet to see. It's pretty cool.
It's something interesting because I spoke about that some time ago about like fighter unions and different pensions. Like if you've had so many fights, you should have some kind of pension. I mean, you have to retire from it eventually.
Yeah.
But we talked about that some time ago, and it's so wonderful to see it actually happen, that somebody's taken the step forward to make sure you guys are covered. And that was always one of my biggest concerns, so that if you did retire, you had something to retire with. You earned it.
Yeah, for sure. And I like that. It's a really cool thing that they're doing that. I always came into the game, like I said, I joined the Marine Corps Infantry in 2004, right after I got out of high school. Obviously, we were at a time of war. We were in Iraq heavily during that time. I knew what I was getting into then, joining the infantry and being in the Marines. I knew I would deploy. I knew I could possibly die overseas. And I knew the risks that I got into when I got into combat sports and fighting. And I loved the opportunity of maybe one day making generational wealth and making a bunch of money. You know what? It didn't work out for me. I'm not making generational wealth. I made it to a level. I fought full time as a career for a handful of years where I could fight and take care of my bills. But I think it is awesome for fighters out there that can rise to a level and take care of their family, take care of their parents, and make that type of money. And then when you have this, that only helps for the fighters that maybe didn't get to that type of level, where they have a generational wealth or even retirement type of wealth. It's cool. It's good to see.
I see Paul just said that you have some sponsors. Do you want to?
Well, yeah, he's working on some nutrition sponsors for me. I don't know all the sponsors in detail. But I know he's working on. He has a nutrition sponsor that I think all of his fighters are going to be a part of. I don't know the details of it yet, but it's a great thing. I'm always like supplements are key to
Yes.
fueling the fighter, healing the fighter, and all those things. So I'm awesome that I get to get a new nutrition sponsorship. I'm looking forward to that. And next level nutrition, is going to get me all jacked up and ready to rock for the fight. After the fight, help me recover after training, and then to also help me elongate my career and get some more good high level fights out of me. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, Dustin knows all about nutrition.
Not as much as people would have you believe.
Yeah.
I know enough. I know enough at this point.
For you, this kid could go from, I don't know how much you weighed when you were off season. What,
220.
220.
223.
And then get himself down to, I that weight.
To I think
incredible.
I'm somewhere around 173 to 170ish, somewhere around there. So,
yeah. I'm a little familiar with the competition scene as far as that. When you get into the bodybuilding, physique, and all that. I have friends that do that. It's when they bulk up and then obviously work your way down. It's similar. It's not the same, but it's definitely similar as far as leaning out and all that stuff. And the sacrifice and the work ethic that you guys all put in is a lot, because you also have to eat a lot, nutrition, eat at a certain time, eat the right thing.
It sucks.
Man, yeah.
That's
he definitely inspires me.
The prep is it's more so like a mental battle for me than physical one.
Right.
Like obviously you feel horrible because you haven't had carbs in months or whatever, and
right.
You're doing 2-a-day cardio, or you're lifting and you have no energy to lift. Yeah. But the mental aspect of it is probably the hardest part. You don't know what to expect when you diet down, or what to expect when you go to a show, whether you're gonna have the best conditioning, if everything's gonna be on point.
Right. You got to keep your nerves on point. You can't be all nervous, otherwise your cortisol levels are gonna go out of control.
Yep.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
That's when the crankiness kicks in.
It's horrible, and I've been trying to dial that in, but when you're so tired, there's little wiggle room for like, you know, anything for patience, I guess, so to speak. Like
Right.
you stop caring about anything, you just start caring about food.
Mike, how many
Right.
kids
You know-
do you have?
I have 3,
Do you have any
Yeah.
boys?
2 boys and a daughter.
Oh boy, you're in double trouble. You got boys and girls. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And then I have
Wait.
I have another. I consider him my son, but you know, it's a relationship that I'm with, and you know, I look at him as like a son as well. So 4 to me.
Aw, that's so amazing.
Yeah.
You don't find too many men
No,
like that that accept other children as their own, and that's amazing. See, you guys, there's so much about this guy you guys don't know about.
Like what? We didn't know this.
But I'm really excited. I don't know how much more time you have. I think we're
No, we're
trying to keep you at 30
6:46.
minutes, but I'm like, I would love to have you on longer, but I know
Wait,
you're on
you
a
gotta
time
hop off?
crunch, so it's totally up
We
to
got
you.
some more. So I got some more time.
Yes.
All right. Craziest like fighting story that you got.
Craziest fighting story.
Yeah. Or like the most memorable, I guess.
I think the craziest, maybe the most memorable for me was my statement fight. That I had a lot of statement fights with Bellator, whether they were, resetting myself to the field of other fighters, like, hey, I'm still here and I'm not going nowhere. But I think my biggest kind of statement type of fight would be my very first Bellator fight. Was against Chris Horodesky in Canada. And at the time, Chris Horodesky was a known fighter. You know, he was still a well-known fighter, young kid, young, talented kid. Bellator asked me if I would, go out and fight him in London, Ontario, Canada, which is essentially his home country, for one. I'm near he lives 45 minutes away from where we're actually fighting. So, he was his hometown, home country, everything. They wanted me to fight him out there, and they gave me a decent enough warning in advance. I think it was like a full camp's worth. And my manager was like, at the time, and my manager then at the time was like, no, I don't know if we should take this. I'm like, no, let's fucking take this fight. My style match is perfect against him. Let's take the fight. I did convince him, I want to fight him. So, short story. We get out there, we weigh in and everything, and I come out. I'm getting booed. Obviously, I'm in his country, his home country, and they're American, and no one knows really who I am. And then he comes out. Obviously, he's home country, home state area, cheering for him. They think this kid's gonna just steamroll me. Fight happens, and I dust him in 2 minutes. I think it was. I knock him out clean. It was a clean knockout. It was one of those ones where he was still unconscious after I walk away. And the crowd went silent. You could have heard a pin drop. And I was just freaking, normally I walk off cool and collected, but I walked off, and then all of a sudden, the energy just went through me. I just went crazy, I was so fired up, because that was my moment to be like, yeah, I'm here. I just took out some Canadian guy. He fought for IFL, fought for WEC. People knew who he was, and I didn't. No one really knew who I was, and I went out there and put him away like that. Was a big statement fight for me, and because of that fight, they put me in. My next fight was in their 145-pound tournament. So that was a great fight. It was a great experience for me. So when I go to Birmingham, Alabama, which is Stamps' home state, and I think his hometown, I'm gonna get booed, but I'm gonna have that experience. I've already been there. I've already been there and done that. I've done it at a country level with someone with a bigger name, and I'm just gonna do it again. 10 years later, or however. That was back in the Horodesky fight was back in 2012. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
9 years.
Yeah. I want to know, is there somebody you really want to fight? Anyone? If you could pick someone, who you really want to fight?
Well, I want to be the champ, most importantly. But I want the big fights. Obviously I want the big name fighters. I want to fight obviously Thiago. I want to fight the big guys, Alves. I want to fight the guys with the names that I can clash with them, and the Julian Lanes, and all the guys with the names, the guys that will kind of cement myself as the real deal. I want to fight those guys, and then whoever becomes labeled in their eyes, they think they're the best. I want to fight them too. But where I fight at, my mentality right now, like I said, I don't really fluctuate. Sorry, my hand's like.
No, you're good. You're good.
Waving right in front of the camera. I don't fluctuate much weight as far as where I want to fight in the bare knuckle scene. So that gives me a lot of wiggle room to go up or down. And so I obviously want to be I think everyone wants to be a multi-weight class champ now. Especially with the division separated only by like 10 pounds in BKFC.
Yeah.
Cool. So you got, the 85, 75, 65, 55. That kind of leaves a lot of space to kind of move around and, be a double champ, be a triple champ. Like I said, for those that don't know, I have 3 fights at 135 pounds in Bellator. I have a handful of fights at 145. I don't ever plan on cutting that low again, just so people are aware.
I can't see you being that low.
I don't ever want to do that again. Now, my days of cutting that type of weight are over. Maybe the 165, maybe even 155, but I doubt it. 165, I can go down. So that gives me, wiggle room to be 165, 175, maybe even go up and do the
We talked about that a couple of shows ago about you guys cutting so much weight and how it affects your fights and your ability to perform.
That'd be horrible, being like 135 fight and going down that low.
Yeah, it was, I cut down to 135, and I was probably like 168 when I was in the cage, right around 160 something. For bare knuckle, man, I don't know if I could cut down it's so hard to replenish your fluids and all that, and you take a nice hard knuckle crack to the freaking to the temple, to the ear, to the really mess up your equilibrium. I don't know if you can recover from those type of shots in the fight. I think a lot of the big weight cutting in MMA has to do with a lot of the grappling aspect of the game, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, being able to cut low and then bodying up and getting that size and that mass to really kind of impose your body, your wrestling, and your jiu-jitsu skills, in the cage. So I think that's where people really look at the size advantage in doing the big weight cuts for MMA. I don't particularly see that as a really big thing in BKFC. Now, don't get me wrong, they do have the clinch, and maybe I'll experience it now with the BKFC having the dirty boxing, being able to clinch and hold and punch. But when it comes to we're just too grown to fist fighting. That's how I look. Yeah. That's how I call it. We're in a fist fight. We're just two grown ass men and freaking throw some hands. And I don't really foresee myself needing to cut that much weight to compete at a high level.
No. I agree with you. I feel like if you're at the weight you should be, you perform better.
Yeah.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, I usually feel really good where I'm at, for sure. I don't think weight cutting will ever go away. I don't think it will. Because no matter if you have weigh-ins day of or whatever, people are always going to try to take an edge. People will always try to do, unless you did a weigh-in, a couple of hours before the actual fight, maybe it can start to, people wouldn't. But then, you might even still have people try to, get that extra edge. I don't know if weight cutting will ever go away unless, I should say extreme weight cutting will ever go away.
Yeah.
Just some more, better. I don't know how you can regulate it any better than it already is. So it's just one of those things that's going to be around. And it's more of an MMA thing. I don't in boxers, in the boxing game, you don't see boxers cutting that much extreme weight.
No.
It's more of the MMA game. They want to grapple. They want to have that extra strength when you're on the ground and you're clinching and you're doing all that extra work. So, bare knuckle, I just don't think I need to do all that.
Yeah. I want to know, have you ever suffered any serious injury, any severe cut, stitches, like your worst injury?
Don't say you lost a finger.
No,
I hope no, he didn't lose a finger. Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
I would say, I mean, I've had broken orbitals, I've had, cuts and stitches, and I would say even before I got caught with a punch in a fight on my nose, and it broke my nose, and it was one of those breaks where I couldn't break it back into place with my own hands, or the doc couldn't do it, or I had to go in and get nose surgery to try to straighten it back up. So that'd probably be my worst injury.
Oh my God, wait, did you just say you would snap it back if you could?
Yeah, absolutely. We try to do that in the back. The doctor.
It's not working.
Oh my God.
Was it like off to the side? Like,
yeah, it's like you can kind of still see. I mean, obviously
a little crooked.
It's a little crooked. Where it's crooked, that was the spot that kind of caved in a little bit.
Wow, that is amazing.
Did you even feel it, or I'm assuming you felt it afterwards? But like in the,
I felt that something was weird when it happened in the fight, because I went up and I touched my nose. Like I'm like, all right, that doesn't feel right. I was still in the fight. Luckily I ended up beating the guy maybe a minute later. Getting a TKO finish, because if the ref caught eye of it, I possibly could have been fucked, and the ref could have been like, dude, your nose is fucked up. I got to stop the fight. Yeah. So I could have been screwed, and that's all hypothetical now. But I remember hitting it. I heard and felt like the crack or like the cartilage. So I remember
going to ask you what it sounds like.
Going up and touching my nose, and I was just thinking to myself, like, yep, that's broken. And then I'm like, keep focusing on the fight, like I'm still in a fight. Yeah, that's what happens.
What?
I love the game. So I love it.
You're so amazing. That's so brave. I would have been like, okay, I'm done.
I think at that point, you get everyone's adrenaline's rocking. I was still first or second round. That's first round, yeah. Adrenaline's still rocking high. So at the time, like I said, I didn't feel it. It was like a pain thing. It was just kind of like you heard it, you felt it. You're like, all right, let's stay in the fight and finish the fight. So
that's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Well, we've had you on for a good hour, and I'm so excited. For 45 minutes, we had you on. I'm so excited. Yep. Tell everybody how they can find you, and there's my next guest that's coming on. It's so funny. He's Mike too, and so he's having this exhibition fight coming up. And he spoke about you, and he's like, yeah, I've heard about him. It would be cool if you could follow him.
Okay, yeah. Send me the link. Send me the who to follow and whatnot. Yeah, absolutely.
He, too, is a veteran. He was in the Air Force, and he has a huge heart for veteran suicide.
That's awesome.
So... and you guys have something in common, so I love making connections between people, and so it would be awesome if you follow him back. He'd be super stoked.
For sure. Yeah, I would definitely do that.
But tell everybody how we can find you.
I see someone saying, who is Mike's Vikings taking in the draft? That's a good question. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
We're going to take in the draft.
They're putting you on the spot.
I'm not even sure. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in there. God dang, that's a good question. I'm not even sure. I hope someone good. I hope someone real good. But where they can follow me is on Instagram, The Marine Richman. On Instagram, Twitter, I'm not on as much. Mike USMC Richman, RICHMAN, and then I got a Facebook fan page and a Facebook personal page, and watch the fight April 30th, the BKTV app. I think Fight TV is showing it too.
Yes.
Their app as well. And yeah, it's going to be fireworks. Anyone that watches me fight, they know I come to fight. They know I'm coming forward.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always going to go for the jugular. I'm going for the kill. And he's going to feel it.
And a show you will put on.
He's going to feel it.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm like, can I just hurry up and get here already?
Yeah.
And what is your fight again?
April 30th.
April 30th.
Yeah, 4 weeks from today, actually. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
on my way, you know, like I had a little break. I had a little training camp, like I said, getting ready for a different fight and that fell through. And then, you know, I took a little break and I got to get ready for this one.
There's Mike.
Look,
Mike,
say
meet
hi
Mike.
to Mike.
Mike and Mike in the morning. No, I'm sorry.
I didn't know Steve was gonna do that, but look, Mike and Mike.
Mike and Mike.
Can you guys see me all right?
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
we can totally
Okay,
see
perfect.
you.
I'm doing it a
Oh.
little old school. I'm on a cell phone, so I need to give it to friends to get a laptop.
Yeah, so am I. At least you got to stand.
Yeah.
You know, that's that Air Force ingenuity. I'm holding it with my hand.
See, the Air Force and a Marine. I love it.
But,
All right.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I appreciate
Thank
guys
you
for
so
having me
much,
on.
Mike. I appreciate you,
Yeah.
and we look forward to having you on again.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Good luck in your fight, man.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
sir.
in your fight.
Me
I
too.
appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you too. Thank you.
We'll talk to you guys later.
All
Good
right.
night.
Have a good night.
You too.
Hey, he took his first spin. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing?
I'm
Good,
very
good.
nasally tonight, so I do apologize. The
Little
allergies
stuffy.
are kicking my butt. No, it's not COVID. It's just all allergies going on here, folks. But we have Mike on, and please tell, how do you say your last name?
I was just about to ask that question.
So it's Wolthuis. It was originally
Damn, I was wrong.
yeah, it was
I
originally
said,
a
well-
name, and then when my folks came over way back, they tried to change the name, which is funny because like they changed it. They're supposed to change it so like everyone could pronounce it, but now instead it looks one way, but it's said another. Everybody thinks it says Wolthuis or something. So-
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, Wolthuis.
I'm like, thanks, Paul, for tuning in. I tell you, I tried to say it, and I was like, oh boy, I know I'm gonna get in trouble for chopping this up.
Wait.
But I'm just gonna say to A2D Radio and our audience, he is a 31-year-old. I can't believe it's somebody who said their age. Everybody's like, no, I'm not gonna tell you how old I am.
Oh, I don't
But 31, he's a veteran of the Air Force. And you also, which is really cool, is that you were a former competitive power lifter,
Mhm.
Yeah,
holding the
that's-
Utah deadlifting record of 782 pounds.
You definitely look like it in your Instagram videos.
Wow.
So
And
So yeah, it's the Utah record in the 242-pound class raw, and yeah, I still can't believe I lifted that much weight. Honestly, like I don't know how I did it, but you just go and do it. Like
A lot of slaps to the back. No, you got really hyped up for it.
wow. I mean, I'm trying to think, like, is that a car? No, car weighs more.
That's
Like,
you might as well be picking up a car. That's
I
like picking up the
know,
back end
right?
of my car.
maybe
oh,
one of those
God.
old like Geos or like Fiat.
Oh,
Yeah, like
or
a smaller
smart
car, yeah.
The smart car. That's really small.
Yeah.
And then let's see. How long did you serve in the Air Force?
So I was in the Air Force for 5.5 years. I can kind of get in. I was gonna like kind of when we talk about mental health, kind of get into my story and like where I came from because I ran into a lot of troubles towards the end of my career. And but yeah, 5.5 years. I served in security forces. I was primarily stationed at Nellis Air Force Base. I did 2 tours. I did one to Iraq and one to Afghanistan. And then I also did what's called a remote tour in Thule Air Force Base, Greenland, which was really interesting and
Wow.
actually one of my favorite bases, believe it or not. I thought it was,
Really?
yeah, I think it was kind of
Like super high tech or something, or
no, so it was cool because you're out in the middle of nowhere, you know, and so actually a lot of people don't know, but Iceland was actually named Iceland because back in the day it was a hidden gem, so they wanted to keep settlers away from going to Iceland. So they named the real Iceland that was like ice and winter and snow and everything and freezing. They named that Greenland so that everyone would go over there and stay
Oh.
off.
oh, that's awesome.
Or supposedly
Wow.
I heard. But anyways, it's really cool because it's out in the middle of nowhere and it snows and you know, it's pretty much like -20, -25, and then probably -40 or -30 on some days with wind chill. And so I just thought it was really cool because the base is really small. There's only like there's probably less than 300 personnel total, like U.S. military. And then there's Danish military, Canadian military. And it's kind of, because it was so small, it was like a tight-knit community. And so everyone hung out with each other and everyone had each other's back. And till this day, I have some of the best friends, not just in the military in general, but especially from Thule. I have some of the best friends ever that I still hang out with and keep in contact with. So,
and I want to say thank you so much for your service. I know you're going to hear me say that 100 times, probably every time I talk to you. But I mean, you know, I commend all the men and women who fight for our freedoms here in America. And I just, it chaps my ass when there's homeless vets sleeping outside. And absolutely. I know we spoke a little bit about that. I did a couple of charity events for that here in Chicago. And I mean, I can't believe how high the percentage is.
Yeah, it's pretty astounding. And right now, I think all across the country, we're seeing like a big uptick in like the homeless issue. But especially like in Utah too, there's like there already was a large homeless population in Salt Lake City downtown. But now you just see tent cities going up. And, you know, I can't help but think like how many of those are probably like veterans.
Yes.
Or maybe people that made mistakes and got kicked out of the military. And now they're homeless with like left with no options or anything, or what they feel are no options, which I can get into when we talk about my story a little bit and mental health and all that. So it is really sad, but you know, right now I don't think anybody has like a real answer to like or a real solution for what we should do. I think everyone is like about just as dumbfounded as I am, and how we can help, you know, these veterans like find job opportunities and know that it isn't the end of the line, that there is options out there, people to go to. So
yeah, we talked a little bit about that and about the Air Force and telling some of the guys that it's okay to reach out to someone if you're suffering from something like PTSD, or if you're feeling a certain way. You know, reach out to your brothers. I mean, there's such a stigma against that, and I don't understand why. I mean, if you guys can battle together, then you guys can work together emotionally on things, because that you guys share it. And I mean, you each have a story.
Yeah, Rachel, we touched on this on the phone when we talked earlier this week, and I won't like get too much into it.
Sure.
But what's really sad is like, so, you know, I think that no matter what your capacity is in the military, yes, there's your Navy SEALs, there's your badasses that go out and they win the Bronze Star, the Navy Cross, you know, we have our true heroes. But no matter what facet of the military you're in, whether you're whether you're an operator, whether you're a cop, whether you're finance, personnel, medical field, you still answered that call to serve your nation. And that's something that every veteran should understand, is like, no matter what career field you were in, you did what less than 1% of the population in the U.S. has ever like pretty much had the balls to.
No, you're
yeah, you know what I mean? But that in and of itself is something that you should be proud of. It doesn't matter what career field you went into. And the sad thing is that I think a lot of people in the Air Force, especially because we get picked on a lot, and you know, rightfully so in some aspects, you know, it is funny to joke about, you know, there's an old joke like the Marines sleep in the mud, the Army sleeps in huts, the Navy sleeps in bunks, and the Air Force sleeps in embassy suites, you know?
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's kind of a dad joke, you know, but, you know, we do get picked on a lot. And unfortunately, because of that, if you do come back with some kind of PTSD or you're struggling with mental health, there's a lot of people in the Air Force that are afraid to reach out because they don't want to get criticized and made fun of, like, oh, you're just in the Air Force, like you didn't see anything. But the important thing to remember for veterans out there, not just in the Air Force, but for people that feel like they can't reach out because they're afraid of judgment or anything like that, you should reach out, because everybody comes back from deployments affected in one way or another. You know, some more than others, but even but even still, like, you should have the courage to reach out, because there are other people like you out there that you think you're alone, but you're really not. And one thing veterans struggle with in our community is some of us when we're struggling with mental health help or mental health issues, we tend to internalize and not talk to anybody and kind of seclude from everything and isolate. And that's exactly the opposite of what you should be doing. You should be out there, whether it's talking to a buddy of yours that you were on deployment with, or seeking out a help from the VA or on base, those mental health clinic, those lines of help that are out there offered to you, should take advantage of them. So
I agree.
I'm rambling a little bit, but it's
no, you're not rambling. No,
but this subject, what we're talking about, is really important to me, and it's near and dear to my heart, because there's a lot of cops out there, especially in the Air Force, security forces, that committed suicide just last year. I think there was 1 month where we had 4 or 5 cops. I follow a page on Facebook that's it's a cop community. Okay. And there probably was about 4 or 5 cops that committed suicide, and that's just unacceptable. So
everybody, believe it or not, I truly believe that everybody suffers from a little bit of something, and you can't think that nobody does, and you can't just assume that everyone, can process things. I just think there's such a stigma on that, and it just bothers me so much, because I suffer from it. I suffer from PTSD from my illness. I mean, I still have nightmares. I'm not going to wake up and see the next day, and that's like a constant revolving door that just you can't. It never leaves you. So it's really hard to deal with, and it's like, what do I do? It gets better a little bit over time, but it's still there. And so people need to realize that everybody has something that they're going through mentally. I mean, especially with what's going on now. Yeah. And this is the time where we need each other. We need to pull on each other, because this is some tough stuff to go through. Not only what serving tours overseas, but there's stuff here. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. And, everything that transpired last year, I mean, I have my thoughts on everything, but I'll keep that, a separate show. But,
we'll get into that another time. I don't mind.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, I have my thoughts about this whole thing. Just know that you guys are not alone. Reach out to someone. I mean, we have a sponsor that sponsors the network here for A2D Radio, and they deal with mental health. That's their professional. That's what their profession is. So reach out. There are organizations that can help you. Now, the other thing is, I want to know why our homeless vets, or why we have homeless vets. Why are they living on our streets?
Yeah. Well, I think that there's. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I'm asking. Okay. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that there's a couple of reasons, and I think one of them is I think the biggest one is mental health, because everyone and it's unfortunate. I think we're at a point in our history of the world where I think the general person is a little bit more compassionate than we used to be. We don't have gladiators out in the Coliseum killing each other. I think we've come like a long way, like in our humanity and like our having compassion and helping each other out. But one thing I think a conclusion that a lot of people jump to, and I really hate it, is, well, that person's homeless and talking to themselves on the side of the street because they're on drugs or because they're an addict or an alcoholic. And that's just not the case. Like, it sometimes is the case, but more times than not, it's not. It's mostly, I believe, and this is just my personal opinion, I'm not an expert, I think that it starts with underlying mental health issues that
Yes.
lead to behaviors like addiction and alcoholism, things like that. And so I think a lot of times, you know, anybody can find themselves homeless. You know, like I bet if you go talk to a lot of those people are on the streets, some of them might have even had a really good job, a full-time job, a family, kids, everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, they never got the help that they needed. They could have a bipolar disorder or a borderline personality disorder. And then when it doesn't get treated, you know, a la, you know, you're not talking to someone, you're not seeking help. It can lead to other things like losing your house because you're, you know, addicted to opioids or whatever it might be. So that's why I think there's so many homeless people, is because nobody is talking, nobody's seeking out help.
Yes.
The one thing that everyone out there has to remember, if you're struggling, and you know, if you reach out to me, for example, which everyone that's listening needs, you know, some help or needs to get pointed in the right direction, like where to go if you do need help. Also remember that I can help guide you in the right direction. I can put you in contact with people at the VA who I know personally, but you have to put in the footwork too as well. And that's the thing, is like, you can't just get a handout. You have to want to change and get treated or get that help. So
Yes, it's a process, and yeah, it's definitely a process, and you definitely have to put your foot in it 100%, or you're just not going to get better.
yeah, absolutely.
Now, oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I lost train of thought. So
Oh,
I'm also really nervous because this is live. I've done a couple of other shows where I've spoken on this stuff, but it was like edited and stuff, so it's different.
Oh, live? Yeah, anything goes. Cussing, whatever. I've heard it all. And we just try to have fun. So this was like, this is your passion. From what I'm getting from you is suicide prevention with veterans. And, you know, I see you doing something really positive for the community and helping your fellow brothers. I could see you doing some charity work, like doing your own organization type stuff.
Well, when it comes to stuff like that, I am a guy that likes to. I think that it is important. I think social media. Okay, I don't want to get too off track, but
sure,
you see a lot of people posting, "Hey, look at me! I'm making a YouTube video, and I'm going to go to McDonald's and buy 20 Happy Meals to hand out to the homeless."
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I do think that charity is contagious. And I do think that in some cases it is good for some people that have a platform where they have a large audience, people that look up to them. I think it is good for them to show, hey, you can go to McDonald's and buy these 20 Happy Meals and hand them out. Other times I watch certain people and I just get the vibe that it's just a little like, hey,
look at me type deal.
Yes.
Oh, look, I'm doing something amazing.
Yes.
Yeah,
I gotcha. So the attention grabbers, and I can see that. I can see that. I can definitely see that, especially in today's world.
Sometimes though it is genuine, and I do think that some should put it out on social media so that it's contagious and that other people look at it and go,
yeah,
man, that was really cool watching that guy go buy all these blankets at Walmart.
Yes.
And hand them out at Tent City, and then someone else is going to go do it, and then, you know, pay it forward. But I'm a type of guy that I really like to keep under wraps, like the things that I do in my personal time to help out. But I will say that I do my best to be somebody that you can reach out to if you're a veteran or anybody for that matter.
Yes.
To get help. And all I can do is, like, I can't tell you what to do, and I'm not saying that I'm an all-knowing expert. But what I can offer is experience that I've been there. And, you know, I have fucked up as a veteran and got in trouble. And I did get into the party lifestyle. But I was able to pull out of it. And I was able to turn my life around and pay it forward. So there are some things that I do try to do for the community and for the homeless and things like that. I don't post it because I feel like you should just go and do.
I agree.
But yeah. But again, you know, like I said, I not just to reiterate my point, I think all I can really do though is that I can point you in the right direction. And I am here as someone that I can put you in contact with people at the VA. I really can do that. But please make sure you're doing the footwork. Make sure that you're going out there and showing up for your life, because if you don't show up for your life, no one else will. So
it's true. So true. I'm going to ask you about this gorgeous, beautiful dog you have.
You're going on the dog.
Boy or girl?
So he's a boy. His name is Breaker. He'll be 2 in July. He's my service dog, and we're actually just about to graduate the 3rd level, which is the last level of classes, from 4 Paws, 4 Patriots. It's a nonprofit organization out here that trains service dogs for veterans and first responders. And they're awesome. Shout out to Lindsay and Donna. Lindsay owns her own business, Speaking Canine, and she's a very busy lady, but her and her mom, Donna, they do all this pro bono out of their own pocket. They don't have to do it. They do it because they love veterans. Donna's husband is a Vietnam vet who suffers from severe PTSD. And so that was part of the reason she was inspired to help this organization grow to what it is now. And so we're about to graduate. But funny enough, I don't have a service dog because I actually don't have it for military PTSD. I actually struggled with anxiety and with depression and PTSD from my childhood trauma since I was little. And so he's actually more for my anxiety that I had already.
Okay.
And then I did have some anxiety that worsened in the military and depression. But a lot of people would assume that he's for that, but it's really actually for other things mostly. So.
Well, he's absolutely beautiful. It's a German Shepherd?
Yes, he is purebred German Shepherd. And he's actually over here. He's passed out.
Oh, is he?
I took him to the park today, and then, we went to class, so he's pretty exhausted, but he's a great dog.
His markings, he's beautiful. Like, he's black with the tan paws. And normally you see German Shepherds dip their colors. You see more tan than you do black.
Yeah, so his dad, we were actually just talking about this today at class, ironically, but Lindsay was telling me his dad is all black, and then his mom is, I can't remember what they call it, but the tan that you see in the feet, and he's got like a perfect white diamond-shaped butt. Patch of white fur on his butt. That's the mix in him. So, but yeah, he's a fantastic dog. He honestly has tremendously blessed my life. Like, I don't know what I would do without him. He makes my life easier to just go into like grocery stores and, places that do tasks that are normally that are easy for normal people. I say normal people, but that are easy for people to go into grocery stores and do their shopping list. He helps me do that, the simple things that are hard for me. So
I too have issues with public places sometimes. There are days where I'm like, nope, I'm not going to go to the store today. I'm just not feeling it. And then there are other days like, okay, I can go to the store. I feel like a macho woman, So I can relate to that. And I really appreciate you sharing that, because I mean, that's something, it is an example of what you go through, and just makes a better understanding for the situation. And but your dog is absolutely gorgeous, and it's weird. Okay, so I have a story about a German Shepherd. When I was a kid, I was in the Brownies or Girl Scouts or whatever it was.
Wait, is this the story where you got attacked by a dog?
Well, no, and it was a German Shepherd. Okay, so it was my neighbor's dog, and I had this big, huge heart. I was like, oh my God, their dog is out, not knowing that he's like half blind and he's older, and yeah. So I went to grab his collar, and the next thing, he bit me right here between the eyes. So they said I was lucky that he didn't puncture an eye, and then he bit me like right here on my chin. So you can kind of see the scars a little bit.
Yeah.
He did a really good job of patching it up when I was smaller. And so ever since then, I have not liked German Shepherds. I was like, oh no, I would prefer a pit bull over any breed, any day. I have one. but German Shepherds scare me.
Well, that's actually a common thing too. A lot of people have had traumatizing experiences with German Shepherds. It's funny. One of my aunts, she got attacked by a dog when she was little. She also has a faint scar across her cheek.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, she did not want to have anything to do with dogs. Period. It didn't matter the breed. And now she ended up with 2 dogs. So, but yeah, like I can understand where people are coming from. I mean, they're an intimidating looking dog, just as it is.
So beautiful.
You know, you see like a big German Shepherd coming. They basically look like a wolf. So I can certainly understand where people are coming from. But Breaker is the biggest teddy bear ever.
Aww.
Yeah, he wouldn't hurt anything. He's just he's a great dog, and his temperament. I'm really lucky. His temperament since he was a puppy, he's just always been chill and relaxed. So he makes my life easier as far as the training and everything goes, because he's also very eager to please at all times, and so he's willing to listen and learn, and so it just makes it all the more better. But
I love it. I love stories like that. I'm going through your Instagram.
Yeah,
okay, you work at GMC, right?
yeah, so I'm a commercial sales manager at Jerry Signer Butte GMC. We're a little smaller GM dealership down in North Salt Lake here in Utah, and yeah, it's kind of weird how I ended up in that career field, coming from being in the military.
Yeah, and powerlifting.
Yeah, and what I found was I learned a lot of skills as a cop in the Air Force. That if you think about it, being a cop is basically customer service, right? Because you're serving the community. And so you learn a lot of these skills, you know, that you fine tune over your career, like talking to people, de-escalating, dealing with difficult people. And it's the same thing in car sales. You have to adjust. You work with some easy people, and then you work with some others that are not so, they're not easy to work with. But yeah, there's a lot of skills that carried over, and it's funny. I transitioned into sales. Like I went into it, perfectly fine. And I mean, I've still got a lot of work to do as far as like, I'm not always the best people person, but I've come a long way. And for a guy that struggles with anxiety, it actually is amazing that I'm able to do what I do every day. I amaze myself because, 6 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to sell a car to somebody. But what I realized is, you can take your skills from the military and, your discipline, and then your ability to talk to people and your mannerisms too, which is huge in car sales, be polite and everything. And you can apply it. But yeah, it's super weird how I ended up here. I never thought I was going to sell cars. But here we are. So
yeah, that's what Dustin said. He's like, well, how did that transition
Yeah,
happen?
I was really, really confused. I'm like, how? Like, I couldn't. Out of everything, I couldn't picture you going from, Air Force to definitely couldn't see you going to like powerlifting. From an Air Force to like, I was expecting that from like the Marine guy or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, but I think it's really cool though that you're so like diversified. You tried just about everything. Just like the other Mike. you guys seem to just, I don't know, I guess try your hand at everything, and you get so much experience, and you figure out what you like, and so that's the good news about it.
Yeah, it's I know it's really like generic and cliche to say it, but the truth of the matter is, you do only live once, and you have this one lifetime opportunity to go out and to try things. And I think it's always important to not get down on yourself and just not try something at all. If it piques your interest, go for it. If you want to try powerlifting, go for it. If you want to try boxing, go for it. What I would not be able to tolerate is being on my deathbed, or when I get older, period, and I just don't have the energy and the physical abilities to do what I'm doing now anymore. I can't imagine sitting there being like, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. And so that's why, I set out to accomplish some goals in powerlifting. I did that. and I'm very happy with the result that came from that. But I've always been into boxing. I've watched old boxing fights since I was a kid. I had, excuse me, I had old Muhammad Ali books and things. Like I had this, I used to have this book. It was like this thick, and I found it at a library, and I accidentally never returned it, so I just kept it. And it was a book of all the famous quotes that Muhammad Ali said. And it really was like a book of poetry. The guy was super smart and really sharp. You know what I mean? Obviously, like he's, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Your hands can't hit what you can't see. And I just remember always being fascinated and by the allure of fighters. And I always admired their courage to go in there and do it. And to be honest, I'm going to be completely upfront with you guys. So up until a few years ago, I was scared to try fighting. I literally was scared to try fighting. And I just decided one day, you know what, like I have to give this a try because I'm going to regret it later if I don't. And so I just did it. I just went in there, and my first sparring session, which was like last year, so last year is when I first officially started taking boxing lessons. And my first time sparring, I was scared to death. I'm not going to lie. I think anybody that says that they aren't scared their first couple times is a liar. And
I'd be terrified.
Yeah. And I went in there and decided, and then now over time it's gotten easier and easier, but I just had to try it. You know what I mean? I couldn't go my whole life being this big boxing fan and wanting to do it and never at least give it my best. So
you're getting ready to have an exhibition fight, right? What date is that?
So it's on April 18th. Excuse me. And it's at 5 p.m. It's going to be at my fight gym. It's just a good little exhibition match we're doing to kind of get used to the flow of a real fight. So we're going to have 3 3-minute rounds. We're going to have 3 judges, a ref. My coach is going to be in my corner, the whole spiel. So, we're just going to run it and see where I'm at. It's going to be a good indicator of where I'm at skill-wise and things like that. So I'm excited.
Do you know who your opponent's going to be? Have you studied your opponent?
Yeah, so his name's Chewy. He trains in my gym as well. He's also another heavyweight.
Okay.
And we've sparred a few times, and he threw out the idea of having a mock fight, and I said, yeah, let's do it. So it'll be interesting because I think we both hold back in sparring a lot. But this is going to be the first time where, you gotta pull all the tricks out of the bag. So we'll see what happens.
What is your weight class? I'm curious. I don't think I caught it.
So in boxing, I'm in the heavyweight class. I currently I fluctuate between 215, 220. Now when I started boxing, I came in the gym 245. So I've had to slim down quite a bit. And basically heavyweight class is 205 and up. So
nice. Mike, you should get into modeling. Have you ever thought of pursuing that too?
No, Instagram model too, or
I know. I'm like, ladies, hello.
So when I was stationed in Vegas, he's still my best friend till this day. But one of my really good friends that I was roommates with for a little bit and used to hang out with, and my old stomping grounds. He was a Chippendale. His name's Brian Cheatham.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was the lead singer of Chippendales for a number of years since they started the show basically in Vegas. And I would hang out around him, and I did have a period of time where I wanted to try it. And I did like a few photo shoots, and then it just doesn't interest me enough to like pursue it. So
I gotcha.
Well,
like
sorry,
it wasn't
ladies.
my style.
You can follow him on Instagram, but that's about it, guys or girls.
Well, guys too, probably.
Well, I don't know. We're not
we don't judge.
We're just gonna pray and hope it's all ladies.
Hey, it's 2021,
Yeah.
I know, right? Oh gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
so will we be able to watch? Will you do it live on your Instagram or?
You know what? After the show, Rachel, I'll get with you. I have some ideas. I do think I'm essentially, yes, I think I'm going to live stream it and probably have a family member do it or something. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to see, I'm sure now the audience would like to see.
Hey, if they want to, I mean, you know, I feel like a little bit of pressure now. It's really weird. There's a lot of people coming. It's kind of turned out to be this thing.
It's awesome.
But I think it'll be good because it doesn't count. The fight doesn't count on my record. We get to see where I'm at skill wise, but I also get the feel of what it's like to fight in front of an audience and have people watching with, you know, cell phones and like recording and stuff. So I think it's gonna be great. So
that sounds so. I'm pretty excited. I know I want to watch. You want to watch?
Is this going to be on?
Well, no, he said that he's going to have one of his family members do it on live on Instagram, which is great. You should do that.
Is it not on the HBO thing?
I think.
What was it?
No,
I'm probably gonna. I'm not sure because I deleted my Facebook, so I think I'm probably just gonna live stream it on Instagram.
Instagram. Okay. That's right. Okay, that's right. You don't have page anymore.
And it's not like it's gonna be like a super big live stream. I mean, it's only gonna be, you know. Probably.
Yeah, it's just at his gym.
Okay. I was wondering.
Yeah.
This is like.
He's like, is
who else
this on HBO? I'm like, no, we're not there
HBO.
yet.
What is it called?
There.
Not HBO. The thing that you signed up for.
Oh, you're talking about Fight? F-I-T?
Yeah, there you go.
No.
I keep forgetting the name of
I'm wearing the shirt right now representing the gym, Fight City.
Yes.
All right.
So that my gym is actually owned by Eric Wallin. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. I can't remember what season it was. But he's an awesome dude. He owns the gym. My boxing coach, Tim Carroll. We're doing some amazing things. Like I went in the gym 245 pounds. I could barely breathe. I could barely make it through 20 seconds of a mitt round. But we've come to where we can run for an hour straight, like round after round after round of mitt work. And for any of you guys out there that fight, everybody knows mitt work is probably one of the best cardio workouts you can get. I mean, it's a total body workout. It takes concentration, especially like when you get to the later, mitt work rounds, after you've been training for 45 minutes, it takes even that much more, concentration to stay, keep your form good and not, get lazy because you're tired and wearing out. So, but it's gonna be fun. There's a lot of people out there that think that I'm going to lose. And, I've heard it all. Like, I'm going to gas out. I'm too big.
What's this other guy look like?
He probably weighs about like 230, 235.
So he's got, what is that, like an extra 10, 13 pounds? From where you're sitting now, or?
But it's just like a lot of people have a lot of doubts in their mind about how I'm going to do. And that's okay. Because when
I think you'll do good. I
know.
I hope so.
I looked at a lot of your videos that you post up here, and I'm like, I mean, you seem to know what you're doing. I wouldn't want to fight you. Then again, I don't want to fight anybody because I can't do it. No, I have no doubts. It looks like you're pretty damn quick, and like I can't imagine getting caught by one of those hands.
Well, I appreciate it. We're working on the hand speed and just my biggest flaw is my footwork. But it's getting there. So as the feet goes, so goes the rest of the body, and how well you punch and everything. And so, but I've been fighting my whole life, whether it's like with my mental health, coming back from struggles, in my early 20s with partying and like addictions and things like that. I've been fighting my whole life. This is nothing new. So I'm all about facing adversity and bring it on. You know what I mean? Like, what's the worst that can happen? You get punched in the face and pain is temporary, right? But, the outcome and everything else, and like everything else is forever. So, just bring it on.
Hey, Mike, I have a question.
Yeah.
I want to know, look, I wish I had the money to buy one, but I still want like a 50 caliber BMG. Have you ever shot one of those?
I have fired a 50 caliber machine gun, but not like the 50 cal sniper rifle, but I have fired the 50. So I had to get 50 cal training when I went to, I can't remember if it was Iraq. I think it was Iraq. You go to a 3-day course and it's pretty cool. You sit in a classroom for pretty much the first day of it, and then or the first couple days, and you learn the nomenclature and everything, and then you go out and do nighttime firing and daytime firing. And what's really cool about the 50 cal machine gun is we were firing out near Creech Air Force Base, which anybody that's been stationed out there knows it's kind of out by towards Area 51. But you fire towards the mountains, and from where the rifle range is, the firing range down up to the mountain range, it's probably like, I don't know how many miles, but it's like way back. And at nighttime, you can see the tracer rounds going out, and it's really cool because you see them hit the base of the mountain and then ricochet up, and they just
that is sick.
It's almost like a rocket. Like when it hits the side of the mountain, it just like blasts upwards. It's kind of crazy, but
that is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so jelly right now.
Like, yeah, you want to go out back and fire the 50 cal? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So like, what was it like? So I am now a certified firearms instructor, and so I'm like, I want to shoot the big guns, but I don't know if someone like my little shortness and my little stature would be able to like handle a big people gun. So I'm just wondering, like, is there a lot of pressure, recoil? Like, is it like, is that like, I know that's
it has to be super loud. There's no way it's not.
Yeah. Well, you most certainly have to wear ear protection for sure. I'm going to be honest with you. It was so long ago, I don't really remember. When you're firing, so we did some firing from the ground and then some firing from a Humvee. So when you're in the Humvee, you don't really feel, I mean, you can kind of feel the vehicle move back from, but I honestly can't remember too much of it. I'll send Rachael a video of it so you guys can watch. I have a video somewhere of it saved.
Do you really? That would be awesome.
Yeah. I also have a video of when it got pepper sprayed. I can send you. That's interesting. But
are you serious? I so want to see. We were just talking about that. Like, what would that feel like to be sprayed?
So the pepper spray, it's kind of miserable because your first instinct as a person, as a human, is to like wipe your eyes.
Yeah.
But that's like the worst thing you can do when you get pepper spray, because all you're doing is smearing the peppers. And so basically, I'll send you the video, but for us, it was like, so you start doing jumping jacks and you're going 1, 2, and actually first I'll rewind back. So they go OC spray, OC spray, OC spray. And they go, shh, just one line down your face. And then they tell you to start doing jumping jacks. And you start out the first few going like, oh, this ain't shit. And then about like 7 or 8 jumping jacks, and you're like, 8, 9. And then they tell you to go to another station and you have to fight the red man. One of the other worst things you can do is stick your face in water.
Really?
Yeah, spread it too?
Yeah, I'll just spread it. So it's interesting. It's miserable. I wouldn't recommend anyone just trying it out if you don't have to.
So what do you do to get rid of it, or to?
I've seen people pour milk on their face. Does that really work?
I didn't do it, but yeah, they say that milk helps. That's what I've heard. For us, at the end, when you went through all the stations, they just sent you over to the hose and you got to spray it off. So I mean, water does in a way obviously help wash it off, but you want to get like that's like shooting it that way off your face.
Okay.
So you spray off your face, and then they had a fan, and really like cool air is the only way you can kind of alleviate it. Other than that, that's what sucks about pepper sprays. You kind of just have to wait it out,
I wonder how long that lasts for.
Yeah, how long does this last for? Does it, like, if you let it be, will it eventually go away, or?
Yeah, it goes away eventually. I again, that was a long time ago too. I think I did that back in 2011. And but anyways, yeah, you go home and shower, and I mean your eyes are still puffy and red and irritated for a good like 4 or 5 hours afterwards. So
that's amazing. I don't know if I probably would be puking, boogers would be coming out of my nose, and I'd be screaming.
Yeah. I heard you could eat it. Is that true?
Ew.
Like I've heard like people eating this.
Eat it?
Like you could put it on food or something like that.
I don't know if you can eat it, but I do remember them saying that when you shower, you want to be careful washing the peppers because they go down.
That'll get you out of the shower.
Wait a minute. Do you know anybody who's had that experience?
I don't know, but I remember the instructors telling us specifically, they were like, when you're in the shower, just like make sure, because it goes down to that sensitive area.
Oh no! Oh my God.
That would suck.
Yeah, I think that would really suck. Yeah, not.
I can't imagine, especially if you're like a woman. Like,
Oh
That
no,
would
that's
go
God, no. Yeah, no. That would be god awful. Oh my god.
The one that I actually never did was, I can't remember what happened, but I couldn't go to the class or something like that. But I never got tased.
I was gonna
Really?
ask you that.
Yeah.
I'm like, have you ever gotten tased?
I never got to get tased, but I wish I did, just to have the funny
Have
say
that
you
experience?
did, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be scared that I don't know. I'm scared. I'm asthmatic, and I think that would freak me out. I'd probably die.
Yeah, it's funny. I think because Devin went into the mode. Well, he didn't.
Yeah, he went into the.
He went into boot camp, and they had him do something where they like put him in a chamber and they filled it with some sort of gas or something like that. And
Yeah.
like what was that? What was it? Mustard gas or something like that?
Oh man, you guys put me on the spot. I can't remember this.
I'm sorry.
I can't remember the name of the gas, but yeah, you do that in basic training. It's part of your basic training.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's awful. So you go in this room and they release I can't remember how they release the gas into the room, but basically you start out with a gas mask on and then your neck starts burning and you're like, oh shit, what did I get myself into? You can feel the skin on your neck burning. And then they tell you to take the mask off and they tell you to sing the Air Force song or something like that. And then when you leave the room, I mean, I probably had 10 miles of snot. Like I had snot from here down to the ground, perfectly connected. I mean, that's like, it just makes you like get really mucusy and your eyes are watering and you can't breathe.
Wow.
But that's the whole point, is they want you to learn how to be uncomfortable but still stay disciplined under duress and under stress. So, but that's the whole point of boot camp in general, really. So
I gotcha.
So what did you do in the Air Force? Did you ever fly a plane? That's the
drones.
I mean, I always think
Those
like
drones.
everybody Air Force is just you guys all fly planes, but there are other things in the Air Force you do, right?
yeah, my dad was actually in the Air Force for 25 years. He was a computer engineer. And he used to say this joke that when people would ask him, did you fly a plane? He'd be like, nope, but I flew a desk. So,
I love it.
I've got dad jokes, like
Literally.
And it's
dad
funny.
jokes.
Yeah, you mentioned early on when they talked about you guys and the Air Force was snotty or whatever. That's what I always was told. Like, oh, the Air Force, they're snotty. They get fed lobster and we get fed shit food. And I was like, ooh.
Is it true
okay.
that you guys have the best food, or is it a lie? Is it the Navy or is it the Air Force? I couldn't remember.
Air Force chow halls are actually amazing. I can actually attest to that. So, the chow halls, they take care of us over in Iraq and Afghanistan. Like they have really, really good chow halls. I think my second deployment though, when they were doing the government cutback or budget cuts at the time, the food quality kind of got shitty. But yeah, overall, yeah, the chow. But any base you go to, like main base, is going to have a decent chow hall, whether it's the Marines or Army, whatever. So the food's not too bad. I mean, I can't complain. I was able to put on muscle and weight when I was deployed both times. So.
I always wonder, are you guys limited to like what you can eat? Because I was thinking like, okay, this is what you get. It's like a ration or something like that. Or do you get to eat as much as you want to eat? Because I would want to eat as much as I want to eat.
Yeah. No, we're not limited. No, there's no, in boot camp, you're kind of limited a little bit. I mean, but only because you only have a limited amount of time to eat because they're screaming at you. Actually, when you get to the later weeks of basic training, they kind of loosen up and they don't give you, 30 seconds to eat your food. They will allow you to sit and actually chew on your food.
Hurry up and swallow.
Yeah. But yeah, like they don't limit you. You have the freedom to eat. When you live in the dorms, when you get to your first duty station, you eat at the chow hall for free, all 3 meals. And, you can pick whatever you want to eat. I would say actually on deployments, people gain weight more than they do back home. Because so when I was on pretty much both deployments had like a dessert bar. They literally had an ice cream bar like Baskin Robbins. And they also had a glass stand, a glass case of one of those like inside where it spins around like a spindle thing. And there was cake.
Wow.
there was different
Wait.
cake and pie on like every shelf. And
Oh my.
I saw people gain tremendous amounts of weight, sometimes not in the best way, but yeah, it's
I would be that guy. I would be that guy. I'm like, wait, are you sure you went to, Afghanistan? No. I went on vacation.
yeah. But overall, I mean, yeah, the Air Force does have it better than a lot of the other branches and things like that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it doesn't. So
That's really, yeah. So that's true. Okay, I've always wanted to know if that was true. And so why?
So to answer your question real quick, so I was Air Forces, so I was basically military police, and we're basically just law enforcement. When we deploy, depending on your deployment, you sometimes you do a little bit more expeditionary stuff, outside the wire opportunities. So yeah, I mean, it depends. There's a lot of it depends on the mission. Like I can't remember the name of the base, but there's a security forces squadron that comes from Georgia. I think it's I can't remember, but they're basically like their mission is every time they deploy, they're going to do outside the wire, QRF missions, quick response force, things like that. So really it depends, but you do start out the first part of your career on the flight line guarding planes. It's pretty boring. The recruiter definitely, gets you a little bit there. They tell you you're going to do this and that. And then you're stuck on the flight line for 12 hours a night, counting the bolts on airplanes. But yeah, so it really just depends. And then, we do law enforcement. We call ourselves defenders because, that's the best way to sum it up. Like you're defending the base. And so whatever that entails, whatever that requires, whatever it takes to defend the base, whether that's checking IDs or, guarding airplanes on the flight line or being law enforcement, we would do all that stuff. So
now let me ask you, out of all the military branches, why did you pick the Air Force?
Well, I'm going to be completely honest. So I went on an LDS Mormon mission and I got sent home early, and I was working 2 dead-end jobs, and I really needed a job bad because I was in a situation where I was living in a shoebox. I was barely making ends meet. So I went into the Air Force recruiter. I actually went into the Army and the Air Force recruiter, and the Army didn't have any slots open at that time, which is really surprising, but for anything. But I went into the Air Force recruiter and I said, hey, I need to get the hell out of Dodge. I need to get a job now. What is the soonest possible date? I don't give a damn if it's being a cook, whatever it might be. And he said, well, I got a security forces slot leaving in 2 weeks. And I said, sign me up. So that was kind of the start. And yes, it does have also a little bit to do with, like, I consider myself a patriot. I wanted to serve my country. I looked up to my dad a lot growing up, and I wanted to be like him a lot. And so it was a factor of those two things why I chose the Air Force. But really, if I had gone to the Marines office and, the Marine recruiter and said, do you guys have a slot open, my life could have been completely different right now. But basically I was just desperate. So I would have taken anything at that point.
Is it true you have to have 20/20 vision?
That's if you're a pilot, right?
That's a myth. Now, if you want to go be a pilot or I can't speak for all the EOD people out there, but I'm sure if you're doing like a job that requires good vision, then yeah, but not for like, security forces or anything like that.
No, I had a quick question because I was looking back into it a long time ago, and one of the recruiters I was talking to, I can't remember, I think it was a Navy guy that I talked to. He said that the majority of pilots are in the Navy and not the Air Force. Is that true?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because he at the time he's like, oh, you mostly just fly like cargo planes, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I thought it was gonna be like fighter jets or something like that. I was thinking like Top Gun for a little bit, and
that is
like. No, go ahead.
A really good question. I don't know, to be honest. I know that when we would do so at Nellis Air Force Base, it's the Air Combat Command, it's ACC. So they're like basically, they would have this exercise called the Red Flag exercise where they would invite nations from all over the world to bring their Air Force, and they would do exercises, training exercises out in the desert. And I mean, every time that it happened every year, I mean, there was a good mixture of Navy, Air Force. So you couldn't really tell. My best guess, though, would be in the end, it's still the Air Force that has the most pilots, but who knows?
That's amazing.
Yeah, I always wanted to know and ask that question. Because, I feel like, when you talk to a recruiter, I mean, obviously that's their branch, but, they haven't exactly, some of them haven't been, what do you call it? I guess, like, deployed to those air bases. And
yeah.
So I always ask.
It's good. You learn more from someone who's actually been there. The recruiters, I find that they don't tell you everything, and they don't have that personal experience like you guys do.
Yeah,
it's just interesting to see the differences. But I am excited that we had the opportunity to have you on, and I'm like, I have been wanting to spotlight veterans at least a couple of times during my show a month. And so I really appreciate it. I had 2 veterans on today, which is like, yes. Yeah. And you both fight, which is exciting. Would you ever fight on bare knuckle? Would you ever do bare knuckle?
I mean, first I got to see if I'm even good at boxing, but probably to answer your question, no. I just, I don't care about pursuing a modeling career anytime soon, but at the same time, I also don't want my eyebrows hanging off and having a big old, those. I mean, I've watched a couple of I think it's Bareknuckle FC, and it's brutal. It kind of is like, I've watched some ones that are like really like cringy to watch, but nonetheless, there's some arguments to be made that, MMA gloves, some people think that gloves actually are worse, as far as causing cuts and damage and stuff like that than, bare knuckle. There's actually some people out there that try to make the case that like UFC should be just bare knuckle. And I'm like, in the end, that padding on your knuckles is still protecting you and for a reason. So probably not. But I respect all the dudes that go out and do it. That takes some balls, like some serious balls to like bare knuckle it up. So
yeah.
Would you ever go back to powerlifting?
At this point, no. Not because I did everything I wanted to do, and to be honest, like powerlifting it's tough. Like every day you wake up and something new is aching. Whether if it's not your back one day hurting, it's your shoulder. I tore my pec a couple years ago. It was pretty nasty. I ruptured the tendon in this one, and
a complete separation, like from
so the pec tore a little bit, but the tendon that connects your pec into your shoulder, it basically ruptured in half. It like severed in half. So, I've paid my dues to the powerlifting gods, and I don't at this point have a desire to go back. I'm really enjoying my health where it stands right now in boxing. I feel healthy. I feel limber, and I've talked about this on my Instagram. I like that I can breathe for once, and I actually have cardio. Yeah, I feel like the skills that you learn in fighting, and I'm not knocking powerlifting at all. I loved it, but the skills and the fitness that you gain in boxing, it's more useful in life. Like I'd rather be able to run if I had to in an emergency situation. I'd rather be able to run, 50 miles if I had to like get to safety than, I can just lift, this amount of weight. So yeah.
Yes. So how can our audience find you? You're not on Facebook, but you are on Instagram, right?
Everything's on Instagram.
Yeah, so it's Ironbeard. So it's at Ironbeard. This is all lowercase. Iron_beard_32. Real quick before I go, I just wanted to share a message with like people out there who might be struggling. So in a nutshell, I wanted to share a little bit of my story. So I got kicked out of the Air Force. I'm very very transparent with my story and where I've come from. I got kicked out because I got involved in drugs and I tested positive for a drug test. And I thought that life was over. My dignity was gone. My dignity was stripped from me. I had no pride. I didn't even feel like I belonged in the veteran community. And it's because of that I was able to reach out to other veterans, that I was connected and got the help that I needed. And I was able to restore my benefits and restore my standing with the government, and to where I have an honorable discharge now. The reason I bring this story up is because I wanted to give a message of hope out there to veterans who are struggling with mental health issues, or have been in trouble, that it's not the end of the line and you can come back from it. Please reach out to me, iron_beard_32. Please reach out to me if you need help or need to be pointed the right direction. I can put you in contact with people at the VA who can help restore your benefits and restore your dignity. Because as you know, when you get out of the military, for veterans that have been in the same situation, it's tough. Like, it's all you know, and then all of a sudden it's taken from you. And then you realize afterwards that how much of a privilege it is to put on that uniform. And that's why there was a book written by, I can't remember his name, an Army Ranger. And I think he won the Medal of Honor, but he wrote a book called Thank You for My Service. And really that's what it is. It's you guys that are paying the tax dollars to give me the opportunity to go to cool countries and to experience these things. And so I don't want people out there, veterans who have been in trouble, to feel like that's it. Please reach out to me. I'll tell you how I got there. If I could stay on here for 3 more hours to tell my story, I would, but I don't want to do that. So please reach out to me. I'll tell you how I got to where I'm at. I'll lay out the roadmap for how you can improve your life and get back in good standing and help you out. So
thank you, Mike, so much for being honest and your transparency and sharing your personal experiences. I know some things are hard to talk about, and I really, really appreciate you coming on the show. And it's always an honor to give back to those who have served. So I'm hoping that you and the other Mike will make a connection and, share through experiences. Connecting people is really important to me. So I'm hoping that you two will hit it off and, share some experiences together. But I really thank you. And I really, would love to have you on the show again and get some updates on stuff and how it's going, and check in with you if that's okay.
Yeah. And then next time I think we should talk a little bit more about some fighting and stuff. And
yes.
Hopefully the next time we'll get to see how that exhibition match went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We can get the update on that.
Yeah, Rachael, when we after this, I'll text you kind of like what I'm going to do with it. But there will be a live stream, so I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys having me on the show and allowing me to share my story. Again, if someone out there needs help or you're struggling, please reach out. I'm happy to help. So,
thank you so much, Mike. You have a good weekend, and we really appreciate you.
All right. Thank you as well. You guys have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, you guys, that's the end of this show this week. Tune in next Friday to see who's coming on next. I always think ahead and have a plan for each week. Like, we're going to get ready to have we're going to have a Mother's Day round table. We're going to have a Father's Day round table. That's the Alpha show. We're going to be coming and talking about sex and relationships. And a little bit of sports added to that as well. Of course, we're going to talk about it. But yeah, so tune in for the next few shows, you guys. In fact, share and like and subscribe to A2D Radio. Share and like my show page, our show page, Spittin' Fire with Rachael Blaze on Facebook. Yes,
Facebook.
Yeah, I was adding a little pizzazz to Facebook. No. See you guys next week, you guys. Mwah.